Hello, true crime community. I'm going to chat a little bit about the Idaho massacre. This is a very tricky case. Why? Because of politics. Yep, politics again. Here we go. Because of the college. It's a college town. Think about it. It all comes down to the businesses that rely on the college and the college itself and their students to pay their bills, right? The law enforcement are being pressured about what they say. It's not right, but it happens. It happens everywhere. Think about the movie Jaws. I know that's a kind of stupid one, but just think about when there was a large shark hitting the beaches. It was, I think, Labor Day weekend. I can't remember. It's been a long time. But, the mayor was like freaking out because the sheriff, I think he was a sheriff or whatever he was, wanted to close the beaches. And the mayor was like, you can't close the beaches because you think there's a shark out there. This is our time when we make all of our money in our town. We can't close the beaches. And then we all know what happened, right? And they, this is the same kind of situation. If the kids go home and they don't come back to the college, what happens to the college? And if those kids don't come back to the community, what happens to the community? They lose money, and so they're putting pressure on law enforcement. Hey, be careful what you say. So think about that. Before I go any further, I do want to send love to the families and prayers and love to the families, the community, the college students. I just think it's such a sad thing. And no one in the college, the community, no one deserved this, okay? So it's horrible. And I'm very angry about it. I don't know what's going on in our world. There was a shooting at Walmart today. What the hell is going on in our world? Is Revelations coming to fruition right now as we speak? It's like Sodom and Gomorrah. I am glad the mayor came out, okay? We didn't see any mayor in Truckee, right? We never seen that mayor. So this mayor had enough cojones to come out and speak to his community. But this is the thing that bothers me. He came out and he said it was a crime of passion. You don't know that. We do not know if it was a crime of passion. You cannot say that if you don't know it's a crime of passion. Because people are going to think it's a crime of passion and they're not going to be on their guards. Again, he said that for political reasons. He doesn't want his town to lose money. He doesn't want to take heat from the college. He doesn't want to take heat from the businesses. So, of course, it's a crime of passion. They think those kids, it was one of the kids that, Okay, so he wants everyone to believe that these students were targeted and it was a crime of passion. But we just don't know that. Our main concern should be protecting everyone. That's what that mayor should be doing. He should be standing up there and saying, you know what? Everybody needs to be on their toes. We don't know what kind of person this is. So I want you all to be, worried. I want you all to be concerned. I want everyone to, if they go out in crowds. Those are the kind of things he should be saying because he's responsible for that whole town and that college, okay? And he should be protecting everyone. And he should be telling the truth. Damn it. He will definitely have blood on his hands as well as law enforcement if this turns out to be a serial killer. in the making. You know, it could be a serial killer in the making. He may be, this may be his first incident. We don't know. We don't have enough information. I pray that's not the case. The mayor also, this mayor does not have any criminal scene experience. So shut your pie hole about the scene. You don't know anything about it. You need to come out there and say, I want my community, my whole community to be on the lookout. I want you to be on your toes. Stop saying stuff about the crime scene when you don't know anything about the crime scene. The medical examiner also spoke and said it was obviously personal. How do we know that? How do we know it's obviously personal? We don't know that. How does she know that? You cannot tell that. You can't. Okay, a K-bar type of knife being used. They have, law enforcement have never seen anything like this. Come on, walk down to Walmart in the knife section. They're there, they're everywhere. Especially they live in Idaho, for God's sake. People hunt in Idaho. Like you've never seen a K-bar, seriously? Look at somebody's hip as they're walking down the street. It's quite obvious if law enforcement said they haven't seen anything like this. Of course you haven't. You haven't had a murder in your town for 7 years. We understand that. It's okay. That's where I'm so glad that they brought in the FBI and the sheriff's department and they got assistance, because they don't know if the red droppings are coming from the inside down the cement bricks. I would imagine this was brutal, and they don't have the experience, and that's not a bad thing. That's okay. Another thing, the criminal profilers, okay, that are coming out and saying that they believe this person is a white male and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get it. But you just don't know. You're speculating. You're speculating just like us. You don't know. Remember Ted Bundy? He went down to Florida. He killed two college girls, beat them, right? 2 others survived, and they didn't hear anything. And they never dreamed it was him. You know, they were also speculating on the type of person that did this murder, and they were targeted in a crime of passion. Same stuff. Stop with it. Man, we just don't know with the information we're given. We can only speculate. And you know what? I think that law enforcement can only speculate. You want to know why? I think they messed up when they didn't get the tire tracks in the beginning. And I thought that was a little bit of crime scene tape. It should have gone all the way. Did you see all those woods back there? So they extended the crime scene tape to go back in the woods so that they can investigate. And I heard they were crawling, like army style, crawling on the ground looking for clues, right? So I think they dropped the ball there. And then the 2 girls that were buddies, Madison and Kaylee, her mom came out, and her sister, God bless her sister and her family, because they have tightened up the timeline from what the law enforcement said. So law enforcement's timeline isn't even correct. Okay, so keep these things in mind, people, please. Okay, let me see, where was I? How the medical examiner said the bodies were found in bed sleeping. We also heard, now we know that the medical examiner said she felt the victims were in their bed sleeping. But we also heard, this is not fact checked, that Ethan was found maybe on the second floor outside of his room, but we don't know that either. Okay, we just don't. We don't know if, we also don't know, but it was said that 2 surviving roommates said they went upstairs. They had been trying to call one of the roommates, and they didn't answer the phone, so they tried the door, and the door was locked from the inside. Now, that would be pretty clever, if you ask me, because the killer went in. And let's talk about this. The 2 girls that survived were on the bottom floor, right? So if the killer came in the glass sliding door on the second floor, which I'm just guessing, these are my opinions. This is just for entertainment. And this is what I think, that the second floor, he came in. And if you come in and you go, you look at the plans, you go in through the kitchen, and then there's bedroom there. That's probably where Ethan and Xana was. He went in there. We know what he did, right? And as he walked out, there's people don't understand how somebody can lock the door from the inside. It's easy. You have a doorknob here and a doorknob on the inside. There's a button you push, you pull the door shut, and it's locked from the outside. So the perpetrator could have pushed that in, and then as he walked out the door, pulled it shut, and nobody could get in. Then he went around the corner and then up the steps to the other 2 rooms that were on the 3rd floor, went in if they were in separate bedrooms, boom, and locked that door, pushed the button in, locked the door, pulled it shut. In the other room, boom, locked that door from the inside, pulled it shut, and then he just had to go down the steps to that glass sliding door, out the back to where the forest was, whatever, and gone. Now, the one thing that I really can't understand is no footprints, right? So unless they're not releasing that information, but we saw the that flying thing. Oh, crap. I can't think of it. But, the news, oh, crap. I'll think of it. But we saw the outside, and we didn't see any footprints anywhere, bloody footprints anyhow. Let's see. So I told you about, because everyone's going berserk. How could the door be locked from the inside? Really? I do believe they were in their beds. I really do believe that. Okay, so they also said no SA. But this doesn't mean that the perpetrator didn't want to do SA. Maybe he didn't know there was going to be a male in there. And his fantasy was all about this SA, right? And not knowing that there's a male in there, and boom, his plans were spoiled. This could have been targeted in the sense that he was watching them from time to time, building this fantasy. Okay, and finally he acted on that fantasy. The boyfriend didn't live there. He just was spending the night. And maybe he didn't know that the boyfriend was inside, and that just busted his fantasy. But he proceeded, Ugh. The father said that Xana had fought for her life, that she had defensive wounds, and in the beginning, the law enforcement chief said he didn't know how the survivors didn't hear anything. Again, he is inexperienced in these types of crime scenes. I get it. But go back to Ted Bundy again, to the death of the two students that he beat to death, and the 2 survivors who didn't hear anything. Okay? And that's not knocking law enforcement. They just don't have the experience. The other thing, that was important, that there was no forced entry. Well, unfortunately, a sliding door could have been opened. They said her parents, Madison and Kaylee, said that they let the dog out before they went to bed. And they could have been talking, slid the door shut. It's easy to do. You think you locked it and you were talking and just walked to bed. That's where I actually think it happened. But they also said the keypad number was, pretty much out to a few other people as well. And so that could have very well been an entry, but I don't believe that was the entry. I don't. The other thing, I kind of, part of me thinks, only maybe 20% of me thinks that the person knew the floor plan. So I'm going to keep that out there. Everyone believes that Kaylee and Madison were targeted. One was stalked in the past, and they think it was those two that were targeted. But think about this too, and I'm just throwing this out there, okay? Xana was sweet and kind, and she opened herself up to people, and she had a boyfriend, and they had a wonderful relationship. It was a starting out blooming relationship. And, they went to a frat party, and, someone could have been jealous of what they had, and you just never know. They might have wanted to take that away from him and, something with her, and we just don't know. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think the whole community is at risk. I think that law enforcement should not be speculating and saying the community is not at risk. That's crazy. They just don't know. Let's say this person's fantasy builds and builds, and there are more victims. I think this community should be on alert. If my daughter was going to this college, she would be coming home, and she wouldn't be returning to that area until this perpetrator was found. I'm sorry. That's my daughter. That's my life. What, you think I'm going to keep her in a community like this? No, I'm not. Anyhow, that's just my opinion. I'm really passionate about this case because these 4 victims were trying to do the right thing. They were being positive role models. They were trying to be an asset to their communities and their families. They weren't druggies. They were just amazing young individuals, and their life was robbed from them, and their families' lives will never be the same, and that town will never be the same either. And those 4 victims will live forever in that college community. So anyhow, thank you to all of my people out there. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to get to your comments. I miss you. Happy Thanksgiving and prayers. Everyone, please, on Thanksgiving, remember all these people that we've been talking about in our prayers. God bless you all, and I'll be seeing you soon.